So we're welcoming you to AI Explorer, what you need to know, top tools for teachers and students for artificial intelligence. And we'll be starting the presentation in just a few moments.
And like I said, for those of you that are joining us today, if you look over in the chat, you can see one of the AIs that's joined us for our meeting today. And I'm going to be demonstrating that. I'll go last today. I'll be showing that tool first in the last portion of what we're doing today.
And this is Judy. I will be posting the link to the quiz at the end as well. And if you would happen to not get it, you can email nwoet@nwoet.org and we'll send it to you again.
And with that, it is time to begin. So welcome. Glad to have you here today. And we'll just briefly introduce ourselves. I'm Dr. Roger Manier, Executive Director of NWOET, and thrilled to be sharing some of the excitement of this latest technology. Tanya.
Dr. Tanya Sanders. I've been with NWAT for 20 years, and mostly my focus is engagement. And of course, what could be more engaging than artificial intelligence in the classroom?
And this is Judy Tucker. I'm a consultant with NWOET and glad to have some participants. Roger, can we have each one of them just introduce, what they teach? Maybe that'll help us customize this presentation today to their subject areas.
Sure. Those of you that are on now and those that would be joining, we'll go ahead. Those that are on now, go ahead, Judy. Why don't you call them off and ask them to.
Doug, I know what you do, but maybe Laura and Kathy.
Well, I have them share too for the other participants. Yeah.
My name is Doug Slagle. I teach at Oak Harbor High School. I teach CCP calculus and pre-calc course here, an advanced math course, and an advanced geometry course.
Welcome.
And anything in particular you're looking to learn or have learned already about artificial intelligence?
We've done a little bit of in-service here with some things, and just seeing if there's anything that we haven't kind of hit through things we've done through North Point, and just compare and contrast kind of what they've been giving us.
Okay.
Kathy, you're next. You have to, there you go.
Okay, Kathy Caldell. I teach 6th grade science, robotics for 8th grade, coding for 6th grade, and then CCP for psych and soc for high school at Riverdale.
Ah, Riverdale. Okay. Laura? You have to unmute there.
I teach at Macomb and I teach elementary physical education.
Yay! Oh, you should look at our vlog today. Judy talked a lot about resources and Info Ohio for phys ed
health.
Yeah.
And I think we are going to have to go ahead and get started as we have more people joining us. And again, welcome. And I want to talk to you a little bit. We're going to be sharing about 8 of our favorite tools. We may throw a couple extras in with that, spending 3, 4, 5 minutes on each different tool. And kind of our theme here, sort of tongue-in-cheek in a hopefully amusing and informative way. The tools I'm showing you are clearly going to be the best. Tanya and Judy, they're going to show you some other ideas, but again, tongue-in-cheek. I want to show you about ChatGPT and Bard. ChatGPT, that's the one that started it all just over a year ago. And my gosh, is it powerful? And the free version does a lot. So with that, I'm going to hop out of this slide here with a little bit of luck and actually do a couple of demonstrations with these 2 really cool tools. And here we go. So to begin with, we're going to give them a little bit of a test on how they do with current events. One of the things that you may have heard about is that the artificial intelligence aren't always up on the most recent information. So let's kind of try a test here. We're going to ask ChatGPT to list the 5 pizza restaurants in Columbus, Ohio that have live bands. If you're going to a state conference or something, that might be something that would be, worth finding out. So there's my question. and we're turning it loose. Oh, I don't have real-time data. But it begins generating some suggestions for most up-to-date information where you can check local websites and so forth. All right, not too bad. It gave me some information. And again, we're testing these two, ChatGPT and Bard, on how they handle some common questions that you might give your artificial intelligence. So same question to Bard. List 5 pizza restaurants in Columbus, Ohio that have live bands. And it's thinking a little bit here. And here are 5 restaurants. Gives me the location, live music, wood-fired pizza. Here's their address. Oops, a little bit of a hallucination here. And hallucination, if you watch our previous episode on the introduction to AI, sometimes they give you information that's incorrect or that you don't want. And I'm glad it did this, actually. So you can see it answered it partially in, I don't know what, Chinese or something. And then here's a couple more restaurants, and it has where actually a click to reviews about the restaurants. So when it comes to current events information, Bard's the winner. They have been updating their database. You know, it used to be dated. It used to be several years old information, but more and more, the Bard artificial intelligence will give you information that's pretty well up to date. It might not have today's weather forecast, probably does not, but it will have some pretty good recent information about whatever topic you might be asking. So that was, how do they do on current? Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
Roger, I read somewhere that if you paid for ChatGPT, you got more recent up-to-date information than if you used the free version. Had you heard?
Okay, good question. Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that changed, because you're right. The paid version, which is about $20 a month, you know, almost $300 a year, was for a time advertising. One of the advantages was more current information. But I believe that the most recent information is now available even in the free version. We continue to see these things evolve and change. So very good question, Judy. Okay, the next test I want to give them, and I apologize for moving quickly, and I welcome your questions online as well. Type it into chat, and you can always email this as well. The next thing I want to do is compare these two tools, ChatGPT and Bard, with how they do on lesson planning. So here's kind of a typical lesson plan. Write a one-day lesson about weather for 5th grade students. Include a homework assignment that requires online research. Hey, wouldn't it be great to do something like this if you're going to unexpectedly, you need to have a sub coming in tomorrow. So I typed that in, and look at that. Here you go. Your information is there literally in seconds. And it even says, offers some suggestion for customizing the assignment for students. All right. Let's see how Bard does with the exact same question. Write a one-day lesson about weather for 5th grade students. Include a homework assignment. Weather Whiz, a one-day weather exploration for 5th grade. Warm-up activity, start a guess the weather game. Introduce the big players. Notice that Bard is putting in graphics automatically. I didn't even have to ask it to help teach the lesson. Weather detective, discuss data collected. Afternoon adventure, weather around the world. And again, an online weather map link. And homework, it's giving you some options. Choose your quest, become a weather reporter or a weather artist. So when it comes to lesson planning, to me, Bard has the nod. It really is doing a better job of giving a more complete set of resources. Now, disclaimer, artificial intelligence doesn't replace the teacher. You have to look at this stuff. You have to make sure it makes sense. and that it's working for the kind of instruction that you want to do. But, you know, all in all, this is a pretty good job. And it took like, what, 1 minute to have this set of resources, including links that I can use in my instruction. So again, they both did a pretty good job, a little bit better on the part of Bard. So now let's ask it to do a little bit more on a homework assignment. So I'm going to say for homework assignment for this lesson, I wanted to include weather measurements that students can do at home. Let's see how it comes up with a homework assignment paired with this lesson. Got to think for a little bit. Whether to be a weather scientist, choose your mission. Notice also, for better or for worse, Bard is a more informal, more friendly kind of an atmosphere in terms of the content that it is generating here. Mission 2, again, homework assignment. Mission 2, unleash your inner artist and capture the essence of a weather phenomenon. Use any medium you like, paint, crayons, markers, and get creative. So again, I really like this. If that doesn't fit what your lesson objectives for the day is, you certainly could delete this, get rid of this information. But I think, again, for a free resource, planning lessons and homework assignments, to me, Bard is the clear winner on that. Now, I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to ask them both to create a quiz based on this. So write a 5-question fill-in-the-blank quiz about the weather lesson. It already knows about the lesson. It already knows anything I've told it about the content. So I'm going to say 5-question fill-in-the-blank quiz. Let's see how ChatGPT does. All right. Yeah, it's getting concepts of temperature, precipitation, tornado, condensation fronts, and it's advising me use this quiz to adjust the difficulty as needed. All right, that's pretty good. And now we're going to ask Bard the same question. Write a 5-question fill-in-the-blank quiz. Included answer key. Bard's thinking here. Four main factors influencing weather. How do we measure the amount of rain and snow climate change is caused by? There's my answer key. Oh, it's giving me some bonus questions here. All right. Did a pretty good job. Now, one last thing I'm going to ask it to do here. Going back to ChatGPT, pretty decent, you know, very straightforward. Nothing wrong with this at all. And I taught science, and I think, you know, basically it did a pretty good job of identifying concepts that you might very well be covering in a science class. So now I'm going to say, export this quiz to Google Forms. This is for ChatGPT. See what happens. You can use the following text to create a quiz in Google Forms. So it has formatted this in a format that's very similar to what Google Forms might use. But how do I get it there? I have to copy and paste every single thing. Let's go over to Bard and see how Bard handles this. Export this quiz to Google Forms. It thinks a little bit. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have direct access. Here's how you open Google Forms. Here's how you add questions. And you can copy and paste the content. Oh my. Well, my great resources here that I am so thrilled to have been sharing with you. And really, I think did a very, very good job with lesson planning, developing homework assignments, and creating quizzes. Neither one does a very good job in getting that quiz into the online lesson tools such as Google Forms and the other tools that we might be using to give SUS. What am I going to do? Are there any tools out there that would automatically get those questions in? Judy?
Well, that's if you were with us last week, I showed my favorite tool for writing questions. And so I will share a little bit of ones that, especially the first one I'm going to show you. So let me share my screen. And questionwell.org would have done that, but only with multiple choice questions. To get other kinds of questions, the upgrade is necessary for short answer that you had, Roger, or fill in the blank ones. So the free plan does multiple choice questions, but I gave a quick demonstration last week of that. I did the book Horses by Gail Gibbons, and of course that saved it. And there they are. If I select them all, of course, it goes into here, and over here is the export. And these are all the different, they haven't added any new ones since last week, but I know over the time they have added these, and you can just click that Google Forms that Roger was hoping for there. And of course, it takes a few minutes to go into that, but and there is your
There it is.
question that you selected. But what I like is on Google Forms, of course, you can edit and then you can add whatever questions you want to at any place in the quiz. And you also can see from the things that these were created by QuestionWell. Here are some different questions that you might put into essay form, or you can actually take some of these questions over here and make your own fill in the blank or whatever if you didn't use them all. So
It does as good or better of a job than Bard and ChatGPT in suggesting questions, and it will help get those questions into the actual online quiz. Okay,
exactly.
yours wins in online.
Okay, well, I mean, QuestionWell was what someone told me about, and it still takes is at the top of my list, even after looking at Magic School,
So
which
this is another totally different tool.
right, totally different tool. Magic School has become really popular. Just last week, I lost my free plus version. They did a trial thing, and so now if I want to do multiple choice questions, it still creates them, but again, it will not take them out to, unless you have the paid version, will not take them out to other sources. So it does a really good job, but again, copying and pasting, just like with Chatterbard. And so same thing with EduAid. You can have some multiple choice questions. I did a multiple choice, and I'm going to move my little window here to preview the questions, and they're fine, but there's no place to export them. And I don't even think, from what I can see, that you could export it if you had a paid version. You can do other, kinds of questions. So they're all really good, but that QuestionWell is just the easiest. And I think sometimes teachers need easy and quick and not a bunch of steps. And I just happened to this morning to read an article from this Tech and Learning magazine, or it's an online magazine. I don't even know if they publish one, but the article was called Best Free AI Quiz Generators. And it did not even list QuestionWell. So I have I may just write this gal and say, you need to check out QuestionWell, because they put ChatGPT, exactly what you did, Roger, and said that it doesn't, go out. None of them went out to quiz Google Forms the way this did. In fact, you can read, the one that got the best grade though was Bard. As far as the creation of questions, it got an A from this professor, and this Perplexity AI also got an A, but some of them, like one called Quizmaker, got a C-. So, but
So I think the point there are many, many tools out there. And we're trying to show you the ones to start with, the ones that we think are really good tools to begin with. Go ahead, Judy.
Right. So I think if ChatGPT or just Bard and QuestionWell would be a great pair
Agreed.
to and use the free versions. If that I always, unless there's some really, really good reason, something that, sticks out that I'm not going to pay. I'm going to try to use the free version. So I think it's time though to go on to Tanya, and because she's got a lot of things to show too.
Are you going to do EduAid, Judy, or at least mention that?
It's the same, pretty much what it looks like.
Because,
there.
oh, yeah, you did mention it. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. And I do want to say on Magic School, though, they just made this little change, I believe, and that it will only show 5 of your past searches or your prompts that you did unless you have the paid version. And that kind of stuck in my, like, that's not fair. You can go and you can get certain months, but you only can see 5 at a time. And then you have to do another search for the other dates and trying to remember what date you did something. So some of the things on Magic School have kind of turned me a little more negative than I would have if they had let me see my whole history. For, EduAid, it shows you every save thing that you've done. And so, but when you go to the assessment builder, for instance, it's really good because you can do all the different kind of questions and you do one at a time and then you put it over in the workspace and make the whole, so it is a nice one, but you can't export it. It says export. Well, the export is just to the workspace, which is this big area right here.
It does not go directly into Google.
It doesn't go directly out to any of the things like QuestionWell does. So
Judy, I had one other question. Both EduAid and Magic School, they both also will help generate content, help create lessons, correct?
EduAid has over 100 different things to generate content. You can see all these different questions, gamification, independent practice. It's got all these assessment made. And then there's this assessment builder that you can pick the different types of questions. So it does have some really good features. It's not as pretty as Magic School, and it is cheaper than Magic School at this point. But we're saying whatever is on January 29th may not be true on February 1st. You don't know when they're going to make these changes and updates. And if people keep sending in suggestions, maybe they'll stay really reasonable as far as their features and their pricing. So.
I did not mean to do that, sorry.
Oh, I didn't.
Can you all see my website that says the AI tools?
Let's see. Nope, we're still seeing.
Oh, I see in the chat.
There we go.
In the chat, the sites.
Okay. All right. So you should I've set a link. There we go. Now I can see it. In the chat, you can see the link that you can go to, but I wanted to show you this quick. I think that's why I was so trigger happy. The Otter bot that I pointed out to you guys into the chat only has 2 more minutes on the free version. So you can see what the OtterBot is doing with our meeting now. It is transcribing everything that I'm saying. And
it's a totally different tool. Has
totally
nothing to do
different
with
tool. And the reason like I said, the reason I'm talking so fast is because I wanted you guys to see the live transcription of it. So you can see this is all the stuff that everybody said so far. So if I wanted someone to record a meeting for me, or let's say that I am doing a hybrid class and I wanted my students to, or I want to make questions from my presentation that I did in Zoom, I could have Otter or my class or anything record my voice, transcribe what I'm saying, and then I could put it in, QuestionWell and say, come up with 5 questions in regards to this text. I could put it in Magic School and use one of the tools in there to create an outline of what I was talking about and to accentuate the main points. So basically, this tool does quite a few things. So like over here, I can look at right here. Let's say that I just got busy, got called away from my desk, but I left the Zoom running. I can say, Otter, was I mentioned so far in this meeting when I come back? also Otter, what decisions have been made so far? And the Otter will basically try to guess what, based on the text, what has been done. And I want to show you this other thing because, and I'm on the home screen because it doesn't just do that. I've shown this to my 18-year-old son because I wanted him to use this for some of his scholarships because, you know, train of thought, talking about things, you can just record. I could hit record right now and it would record me for 30 minutes and transcribe everything I'm saying. As you can see, it's still transcribing me over here. And then I can use some of the tools in here to bring out my most used words, make an outline of what I'm saying. And now I could take those words and put them into an essay to fill out for my scholarships. You can see over here that it's based on your calendar. That's why Otter joined us today. When we joined the meeting at 2:30, Otter hadn't joined yet. And then all of a sudden Otter jumped into the chat and said, hey, I'm here on behalf of Tanya. I'm going to be recording the notes. And it actually asked permission before we got in. It did not ask Roger permission, and this is his meeting, but it asked me if I was okay with it. But the host can remove the Otter if you don't want the Otter in there. So that's Otter AI, and you can see that link right here in the on the site that I showed you, Otter AI.
Tanya, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I could record I mean, just in teaching, you know, I'm in the classroom teaching my students. I could wear a wireless microphone and have AI record what I was saying that day, right?
Yes, you could. You could record anything. You can
and then make a transcript of it, students that were absent or even that were present. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what makes me think that my tool's better than your tool. How'd you like that?
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you, when
And
it comes to making a summary of meetings, this is really,
is.
a summary of any spoken word, really, any spoken word.
it sends you an email later, whether you want it or not, of all that it's, you know.
Yeah,
So-
and it does do an outline, and we tried to figure out one day, we just sat here for a long time, longer than we needed to figure out how it creates the summary for us based on what we've talked about, and how does it know who said what? Like it knows
wasn't
not-
100. No, remember how it wasn't 100% on that? I
it
said,
wasn't
"No,
100% because, yeah, so it was saying Judy and I were right on, and then all of a sudden it switched and it said someone was there that it didn't know, and then later on it said Roger was there. So it tries to guess based on participants. It'll say participant 1 if they're not invited, if they're not part of Otter. But we tested it. It's not accurate for sure. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Slides AI. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the tools that create something for you without your input. I'd rather start something and then ask AI to help me where I get stuck. But you can see on this page, slides.ai or slidesai.io, excuse me, you have to go here first, have your admin install Slides AI for Google Slides. And then it has some videos on here if you want to check that out. But if I go to Google Slide that I have used Slide AI on, basically you go to Google Slides, and then under extensions, after it's installed, and you'll have the instructions if you have your admin do that at your school district, it will pop up here on your add-ons. So Slides AI, and then I have these options. Now I could have said generate slides. I could say edit slides, add a new slide. I just basically said edit slides with AI, but I can do all this stuff again. I don't like the theme that it gives me, and you can only have so many themes with the free version. So as you can see, there's locks on these. You can't have the 3-column. I can have a 3-column with Google Slides. And then all I would have to do is have that one remixed by Slides AI. Now it put in pictures, it put in the swirly things, but let's just go right here. I'm going to say create a slide here, and I can give it a slide and put AI dangers. And then here, I could actually tell it to generate something about safety of using AI in schools. Let's see what it does. And I can choose the layout that I want. And then I'm going to create it. I guess I have to choose a design there. There we go. And create the slide. Oh, well, a server error occurred while reading for storage error, internal error. Well, let's try to.
Of course, you're demonstrating it to a large group of people. It's
Yes.
guaranteed that's when it will fail.
Exactly. Let me try to remix a slide. Some of these, most of these were created by me. Let me remix a slide and see if it'll remix. Add more details. Let's see if it'll just do that. And basically, what it does is it will, just like you're processing something, so it will go there. Now it's adding more words based on what it had said on that slide before. Did you guys see that it created that one slide just before it popped up and it said that it was there? Where did it put it? But yeah, it normally works really well. After your admin installs it, the first thing that I did was went to this and said, generate slides. So let me see if I can even do this. Let's do this. There we go. Let's see if it's just confused because I already have a lot of my stuff already there. Slides AI. Let's generate some slides. And let's go to, can you see my pop-up here? So I'm going to say from a topic. You could also do it from YouTube, and that's coming soon. From a topic, I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, create about llamas. And then I want it to be 3. I reached my limit. That's why it's not doing it.
Let me ask you something. I know you've played with this a lot more than I have, but
Yeah.
one of the things that I've used the slide AIs for, and tell me if this tool does that. So like, let's say you're working on a presentation along with me, and we both make content, and the format that we've used is different. You maybe use different fonts, different colors, whatever.
Right.
You can have the AI say, look, take all of Roger's content and put it into Tanya's format. And I mean, it'll just do it. I mean, everything is there lined up and looking beautiful.
Yeah, and as you can see, I only use the free versions, just like Judy. And I don't recall paying for anything on purpose with tech tools. So basically, me playing with this and testing it for some teachers, I've taught it twice. And that's where I've used up all of my free access to it. So 3 presentations, I've already used all of those. Yeah, 3 presentations for free, set up in seconds. So I've already played with it once, taught it twice. There's my 3 presentations. So I apologize for that. I thought it was a limit of slides, not presentations. So, but then last week I talked a little bit about Go, Grammarly Go, and there's 3 interfaces with Grammarly Go.
Totally different tool again, correct?
Totally different tool. But I want to show you different aspects of it because I did show you, these kind of things last time.
Grammarly basically makes your writing better. I mean, it's done it for years.
Right.
It's been around, but now it has artificial intelligence to help improve your written work.
Well, yeah. Grammarly has been AI since 1996. And that's because it was always changing our grammar based on a database of facts. That's what AI is. AI's been around forever. Grammarly does only the grammar stuff, the spacing, the punctuation, the spelling. It also will do the premium stuff and How do you feel? Do you want it to make it professional or friendly? That's been around since 1996. But this portion ups it a level with Grammarly Go. One, it follows you around and allows you to use an AI. Just think about if ChatGPT followed you around wherever you went. That's what Grammarly Go is. This is like an interface that's just straight up, I'm going to write something in here. Maybe I want to do an essay. So I use my generative AI over here, and I can go through all the steps of like create an essay response that is 3 paragraphs. Responding to this question. How did the French Revolution begin? Okay, and we'll see what it does. I got a little, there we go. So it shows me, or tells me what it came up with, 3 paragraphs. And again, just like ChatGPT, I can read over it. I can add things to it. Basically, the Grammarly Go is wherever your cursor is. So I can just paste it right in there. Now over here, just like I'd mentioned last time, is you can go to the statistics of what it just wrote. My text to score is 98 out of 100, and here's how it got that score based on Grammarly's suggestions and how it should be done. Okay, and I can go over here and I can have Grammarly correct it. How is it going with clarity and engagement? And then for premium is going to correct itself, which is funny to me. If I pay money, I can correct Grammarly the way Grammarly wrote Grammarly, kind of thing. Last time I showed that is no matter where you are, that this tool follows you around. So you can see over here that Grammarly's here. Okay, see the little swirl? But if I put my mouse over that little swirl, it becomes a light bulb. And that light bulb brings up Grammarly Go, just like you had seen. I want to sound confident. I want to share a company update, write an engaging introductory email. So basically, it's asking me what I want to do. But check this out. If I'm editing a web page, I hover over Grammarly. Grammarly's with me all the way. Grammarly wants to correct all my mistakes. But Grammarly Go is like, you know what? I want to write it for you. So I could put how I want it to format it. I want it to be in a bulleted list. I want it to include all the links from today's broadcast. And then I'll say, write a friendly paragraph that introduces the best AI tools that have ever been taught by NWAT, and then it will generate it. And then I wanted to
So
show
this certainly is a tool a student might be using with or without our knowledge and permission to make
Could.
their writing better. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. But
Tanya?
we have, based on my research, we have discovered that Grammarly Go has been detected by more AI detectors than ChatGPT. So if you want to do just a general check on, is this AI, using one of the AI tools to detect AI, Grammarly Go gets detected more often. I know that some of us are in LMSs. This is Google Classroom. Check it out. I'm struggling on the instructions. I want it to be written better. I want it to write it faster than me sitting here agonizing over it. So I would say, write instructions for a 10-point essay question. Let's see what it says for me. There we go. Okay, so I can look through it and go, all right, read and understand the question carefully. Yes, I like that. So I could pick and choose what I want, and then I could insert it over there. And that's just Google Classroom. So helping me out with that. I could also, oh, no, that was my last one. Yeah, so it follows you around at wherever you go. If I'm editing, if I'm in an email, if I'm in a discussion box, wherever I go, Grammarly Go is always there. It's actually annoying to me. I had to install it the other day because it was in the way of me trying to type or use some of my tools. I've learned to expand my screen or just to turn it off on that screen if I need to, because you can't move it around, but it pops up on its own, and it always seems like it is in my way. So those are the 3 tools that I promised to do for you today. Grammarly Go, the AI tool that helps you write things. Grammarly Go helps you write them, and it writes them for you. And then Slides AI, which allows you to do 3 presentations for free, and it has to be installed through your Google admin. It's an add-on into your extensions into your Google Slides. There is also Beautiful AI, but you can't get anything free out of Beautiful AI. It has different fonts, it has different formatting, different pictures, wonderful things like that. And Otter AI, which I love. Let's see if it's still recording me. Oh, it's done. It looks like maybe. But I love this I wish it would have been around 9 years ago when I started my PhD, because I would have recorded almost every lecture that I sat in, because I missed things. I needed to take notes. What were the major points? What were, so you could use this as a study guide. And like we said at the beginning, teachers, you could use this as a transcript to give to students who are absent, to help you create tests, to help you create assignments, notes, whatever you're looking for to help with the curriculum of your classroom.
Connie,
So
in 1 minute, talk
that's-
about one I'm most interested in. It's not one of my favorites, but and that's the undetectable AI.
That's what I was just going to ask. I just heard about that this week.
I went over it last week, remember?
Yeah,
but-
Yeah.
but I-
You want me to say it again?
Yeah. Well, some of the people here may not have had it. And I think when we're talking about, tools that students may be using, it's worth repeating.
Okay. All right. So undetectable AI, it'll detect the AI and it'll humanize it for you. So
Basically, it helps kids cheat, right?
exactly. Yeah. So if I take this essay that I had Grammarly Go work on here, and I got so many things open here. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. You just have to paste your text there. So this is the one that Grammarly Go created, and it looks like it'll go up to 150,000 characters. No, 15,000 characters, sorry. So then I check it for AI, and it's checking for AI. And as we decided last week, we feel as if Grammarly Go is always detected. And then if you have the paid version, you can click on Humanize and then allow it, looks like $9.99. You can hit Humanize, and I've done it for all my free times. I hit Humanize and it'll make it not detected by AI. So it's a really nice tool. I wouldn't rely upon it to guess that someone is doing cheating. I would start with Googling to see if someone's plagiarizing first, and then I would try an AI detector after that.
And my point, from what I'm hearing, is that, on the street, if you will, that there are some students that frequently use tools like AI detector to see if they're going to get caught when they turn in something that they had the AI write. So, all right. So those are some of our favorite tools. We've got a couple more things to share with you. While I'm getting set up for that, please, if you've got questions, we welcome you putting them into the chat or sending them to us by email. Oops, that's not the page I want. Let's see if we can get to the page we're trying to show you here. All right. Oops, nope. So we've been talking a lot about tools that you as teachers can use. We've talked a little bit about tools that your students might already be using. How are you going to explain this to your parents? And I really, really encourage you, first off, talk with your students about the types of artificial intelligence that they may already be using. They probably are. And help them understand how to use the tool. We can't stop them, so we might as well help them learn how to use it. Google and ChatGPT both have loosened up their policies. They may legally be used by anybody age 13 and older now. That's a change from things you may have heard previously. And we know that, well, all the student has to do is lie about how old they are when they create a Gmail account. I'm not encouraging this, but I'm saying this is something that could happen. And then students of any age have access to both ChatGPT and Google Bard. So how are we going to explain this all to parents? First off, I encourage you, give them a demonstration, sort of like those that we've been doing here. And I'm going to give you a recommended demonstration here in just a moment. But demonstrate to them how artificial intelligence can complete students' assignments. Let the parents see just how easy it is to use these tools, for better or for worse. Explain to the parents your expectations in terms of honesty. What do you expect students to do? And how do you expect them to report to you, the teacher, when they're using AI? Reassure the parents that we're all learning. This is changing and developing, and something that they may have heard that was in fact true a day or a week or 6 months ago, those facts may have changed. Like the fact that, yeah, now anyone with a pre-existing or new Google account for age 13 or older, yep, they have full access to Bard, even if it's blocked at school. So reassurance, parents, we're all learning about this, and encourage questions and discussions going forward. And by doing this, I think we're going to be able to help keep control of this powerful set of tools. You know, I personally, I don't think we should in any way try to stop it, but I do think we've got to help encourage and manage the technologies that are being used here. So I want to do just a couple of real quick demonstrations here in the few minutes we have remaining. And so this is what I'd suggest you do for parents, your version of this. Write a 300, so ChatGPT or Bard, either one. Write a 300-word essay on why spending too much time on video games is bad for junior high school students. Include five citations in, there we go, yeah, have my 5 citations in MLA format. Give your parents an example of your assignments and how the artificial intelligence can create that assignment. And there you go, just that quick. That's what the assignment is. Notice I specified MLA format. I could have done, you know, APA or any other format I wanted. It would have done it for me. So, wow, that's really, really easy. Show your parents just how easy it is so they can get a feel for not how scary it is, not how threatening it is, but how this new tool works and why you're putting together some new policies for your classroom to help your students understand and learn and continue to grow. Okay, new topic, another demonstration I want to show really quickly here. I'm going to do this one with ChatGPT. You can teach these resources about you and your school. You can give it what's known as custom instructions. So, for example, one of the custom instructions I might give ChatGPT is I teach students with special needs. Make sure all responses are written using words appropriate to grades 3 and 4, or whatever. You can tell it that. So it knows as it's answering questions what you teach and who you have. But wait, you can get even more specific. You can tell it, whoops, here we go. And I'm just going to say 3 students to keep this simple. You can put it in as many as you want. It doesn't care. There's no limit on how many descriptions you give it. I have 3 students. Sally's interested in volleyball. Bill likes bowling. And assignments for Sam need to be at the 5th grade reading level, even though he's in 9th grade. Sam is interested in motorcycles, racing, and snowmobiling. So that is what I've taught ChatGPT about, let me go back here. That's what I've taught ChatGPT about me and the students I'm teaching. So now I'm going to go, okay, we're going to exit here. Now I'm going to write a lesson or make an assignment actually. And each individual student is getting their own custom-made assignment. Same thing, write a 300-word essay. Let's see what it comes up with. Here's the essay assignment for Sally. It knows that she likes volleyball, and so it's giving her story starters related to volleyball. Here's the assignment for Bill. It has a 300-word essay for him, and it's suggested 2 different topics related to bowling. And here's Sam, and it uses language that's a little bit simpler, a little bit more grade level appropriate, based on the characteristics of Sam that I have described to it. Make a grading for each make a grading rubric for and so it knows to make a grading rubric that takes into account all of the things I just talked about, and that I will be able to recognize the way the vocabulary I'm looking for in Sam might be different than the vocabulary than the others. So this are just some incredibly powerful tools out there that will help you customize assignments for your students. Tanya, Judy, we've got about 3 minutes left. Those are my thoughts. Your last thoughts as we send folks down the road. And I will bring up a slide that shows you where to get the quiz and the professional development certificate for joining us today.
Yeah, I listed it right there. It's the last thing in the chat. The
Thank you.
link you gave me.
It's in the chat as well. Okay.
Yeah,
Very
yeah, and I just want to note that you talked about rubrics, which is a great way to grade essays, and both Magic School and EduAid are great sources of places to build these rubrics without having to write it all out yourself. I mean, you give it the guidelines of what you're looking for, and it creates it in a table format that's pretty cool to be able to. And actually, I've heard that you can take ChatGPT and put that rubric, copy and paste it into ChatGPT, and then put the student's essay, as long as it doesn't exceed the word amount that is in the free ChatGPT. Like, I think I even mentioned as a teacher I know is actually paying for the premium version of ChatGPT because her students are like juniors and seniors, and their essays exceed the 1,000-word limit. And with the rubric included, she had to do the, but like she says, 80% of the work is done by ChatGPT, but she still does 20%, but it's saving her so much time and being more efficient with her grading.
Amazing. We've
Yeah.
just scratched the surface, and I think we'll probably have another workshop where we really talk a little bit more about how the artificial intelligence can help you with grading and evaluating student work. Tanya.
I just wanted to say that I've met with a lot of teachers in regards to specific tools, and some of them are gung-ho ready. Let's use this AI tool. Let's use it with our students. And then some are like resistant on using it with students, resistant telling students about it. But the one thing that I face the most is the guilt of using it, like feeling bad that you've used AI. And you know, if you think about all the tools that we've used over the years to help us achieve whatever, you know, whether it be a textbook, whether it be a teacher pay teacher, or an online quiz that we altered ourselves, anything that you've ever Googled, you know, used a picture, saved an image, whatever you've used from the internet over the years, that's always helped you. and tools keep getting more advanced. And the more advanced they get, the more they help you. So just because this one, well, first of all, can't do your job, but just because this one acts like it can do our job, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be using it and elevating our instruction based on that tool. We've always done that with our tools that have come out. So use it how you feel comfortable, but definitely don't keep it a secret. Either have policies associated with how to use, your students should be using it. And that's all I have to say is you need to mention it with your students and get ahead of it before they start misusing it and you backpedaling and saying, well, you're not supposed to use it. So, and also all of your, anyone that was here last time, your certificates should have been emailed to you. And then after you complete the link that Roger's going to give you today, you should be getting your certificates as well. And if you have any questions, you can always email any of the three of us.
So today's certificate is available now, bit.ly/AI-by-NWOET. Scroll down a little bit and click on the Get Your 1 Hour PD certificate. We're going to stop recording right now. Thank you for joining us. Those of you that are online, if you'd like to hang around, if you had individual questions, we welcome those, and everyone is welcome to email us at the information you see on this screen.